So I'm not really sure what possessed me to read this, but I guess I just found it and thought it was amazing and hilarious. So yeah, I hope all you guys enjoy. This is Fire and Brimstone, the Donald Trump saga by Spoopytanuki. And I'm not really sure who you guys are because I don't have any subscribers. But yeah, there we go. Donald Trump woke up from his deep slumber. He had had a terrible dream, a dream where everyone had found out his secret, a dream that Martin Luther King couldn't even comprehend, a bad dream, a terrible one in fact, a dream. He looked around his room. Nothing was gone nor moved. Everything was the same as before, walls and floors coated in gold and countless precious gems. Furniture was made completely out of Egyptian cotton, even the mirrors. Donald grinned from ear to ear, thinking about the countless servants who had come to his room, polishing the pure Egyptian cotton so it would reflect as if they were a looking glass. Cotton cannot become reflective, no matter how much you polish it, the scientists said. Donald knew better than them. He could do anything, unlike those pesky scientists. Cotton could not stand in his way. Scientists could not stand in his way. Not even Egyptian cotton. Not even Egyptian scientists. The Trump rolled off his California king-sized bed onto the floor. Even though the floor was fashioned out of pure gold, it did not harm him. Donald is indestructible, much akin to Egyptian cotton, which his mirrors were made out of. He giggled and rolled about his room. He loved being rich. He loved Egyptian cotton. He loved gold. Donald suddenly felt uncomfortable. He knew something was wrong. Donald knew everything, unlike scientists. "Oh, God, what's happening?" he screamed. He stumbled towards the bathroom, slashing and clawing at anything in his way. Donald Trump had to pee, and he had no idea if he could reach the golden throne in time. Donald stumbled once again. However, this time he fell. His bladder had already begun to fill rapidly, and the fall had made the burning sensation even worse. He had to pee. He had to make it. "Help!" he screamed. "Someone help me!" Footsteps could be heard outside of his room, and then the hall. He began to black out. He did not know how long he could stay conscious. It was only a matter of time before his golden liquid would spill over his golden floor and onto the Egyptian cotton. Oh no, he thought. Not the Egyptian cotton. His eyes began to tear up. He began to wail and cry. This would not happen again, not like last time. He was not willing to spend that much money on Egyptian cotton restoration again. Suddenly, the heavy golden doors at the end of his room flew open, accompanied by a large gust of wind and a mighty yell. It was Raoul, Trump's finest cleaning lady and his best friend. She was a strong, red-haired woman of Scottish descent. The renowned skill of Egyptian cotton polishing had been in her family for generations. She was an avid scientist hunter. They insulted her family. The skill of Egyptian cotton polishing cannot be renowned in any way because the ability to polish cotton does not exist, they said. Egyptian cotton did not exist in Scotland until recently, they said. Please don't kill us, they said. Raoul knew better. She knew almost everything. She had an almost Trump level of understanding all things. "I'm here to save ye," she bellowed as she sprinted over towards the almost unconscious Trump. She picked him up and cradled him like a baby. "You'll never have to pee alone," she whispered. She then entered the bathroom. Then she tossed Trump onto the toilet. "There you go," she chuckled. "Make sure you wash your hands when you're done." She left the room. Trump had finally made it. He began to urinate in the priceless gem of a toilet. "Ha ha! Golden! Just like my walls," he laughed. He loved the color of gold. He loved pee. Donald dried his hands on the soft, fluffy Egyptian cotton hand towels in his bathroom. He gazed into the Egyptian cotton mirror. It was polished perfectly. He gazed at his toupee-like locks. It had always been that shape, even when he was a small child. It was a curse cast upon the Trump family. Every Trump before and after Donald would have the same hair. The curse affected Donald differently, though. There was one bit that he had kept secret his entire life. No one knew, save for Raoul and one special scientist. Now, Donald and Raoul hated scientists. They hunted scientists often. They publicly outed scientists often on their beliefs about Egyptian cotton and mirrors. But this one scientist, however, has the trust of both Trump and Raoul. This scientist is Dr. Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones believes he knows the cure for Donald's curse and secret. He believes that he could harness the power of this curse to help the world overcome hunger, disease, and even death. He believes in Trump, and Trump believes in him. Trump left the bathroom and began to frolic around his room once again. He felt alive now that his bladder had been fully emptied. He noticed that Raoul had made his bed and polished the Egyptian cotton mirrors. They shined in the sunlight that had been filtering through the room through beautiful stained glass windows. "Hello, New York City!" he called out to the bustling cityscape below. He wasn't completely sure if this is even New York City or not. He felt like it didn't matter, as all cities are the same to him. Donald was glad that he had chosen to keep his bedroom at the top of Trump Tower. It had the most beautiful views. He then heard a voice beside him, but there was no one else in the room. Who could that possibly be, he thought. "I believe you dropped this," the gruff voice said. Donald leaned out the window more, then looked to the right. It was the window-cleaning man. The man proceeded to hand Donald Trump a bar. "Twix, my favorite," Donald called out to the man. The window cleaner nodded and proceeded to clean the windows once more. Trump let the candy bar fall out of his hand onto the city below. It was a gift to the city, also payment for the water and electricity bills. He was then completely debt-free. He closed the window and then laid down on his freshly made bed, fashioned entirely out of Egyptian cotton. He could not get enough of Egyptian cotton. It was a godsend. The smell of freshly baked pies began to waft into his room. Pies were his favorite breakfast meal, next to gold and Egyptian cotton. He loved pies. He loved gold. He loved cotton. He hoped his meal would be a combination of the three. He sat up, got dressed, and then exited the room. Donald walked down the hallway leading to the dining room. The smells of pies grew stronger and stronger. He gazed at the countless portraits of himself lining the hallways. He approached his favorite one. It was the largest of all, taking up nearly a quarter of the hallway. He stroked his large painted face softly. "I'm beautiful," he mumbled to himself. Then he felt a memory burning the back of his thoughts. His secret. His curse. He winced and returned to his thoughts of pies instead. Oh yes, gold pies, cotton pies, delicious pies. He trotted down the rest of the hall and entered the dining room. "Delicious pies!" he screeched. The entire table was covered with pies made of pure Egyptian cotton. Even though Egyptian cotton is indestructible, Trump is still able to consume it as if it were normal food. It is the greatest mystery of science. It's almost as great as the mystery of how scientists are so goddamn stupid, Donald said aloud. There was a cough from the other side of the room. Dr. Indiana Jones was sitting at the table. "I'm sorry, Indiana," Trump mumbled. He did not mean to hurt his friend. "That's okay, brother," Indiana laughed. "I hate G's too." Indiana got up from the table and bro-fisted Trump. They laughed and sat back down. Indiana proceeded to pull a can of baked beans from the inside of his coat and dumped it over one of the pies. Indiana loved beans. He loved pies. He loved baked bean pies. They were his favorite, and Trump had no clue why. "Word on the street say Gordon Ramsay wants you on his lame-ass cooking show." "I say, you ain't a cook. You a goddamn millionaire," Indiana whispered to Donald. Dr. Jones smiled, and his wonderful grill sparkled in the light of the room. It has been said that he forged the grill with the gold from the Holy Grail itself. "I even got a call from the little shit Ramsay himself asking for you. I say, if he calls me one more time, I'll sick my goons on him." Donald shuddered. Dr. Jones was the best gangsta in all of New York. Who knows what would happen to Ramsay if Indiana decided to set his goons on him? "Raoul, phone up Gordon Ramsay," Trump called out. Indiana looked shocked. "I want to do it. I want to enter Ramsay's kitchen." Donald sat behind his pure gold office desk in his Egyptian cotton office chair. A Fall Out Boy album played in the background. Oh, how he loved Fall Out Boy. He almost loved the band as much as Egyptian cotton and gold. He wept for days after they broke up. Donald shook his head. What a shame. He had been expecting a very special visitor all day. Trump was nervous. Every once in a while, he would pat his face with a purple silk cloth. Egyptian cotton was too precious to use as a handkerchief. Gordon Ramsay was going to walk in through the office doors in roughly 30 minutes. Trump began to blush. The mere thought of the British chef left him hot and flustered. He couldn't help but think of Ramsay's beautiful blue eyes, his tender touch, his messy hair. He loved Gordon much more than he loved Fall Out Boy. He almost loved him as much as he loved Egyptian cotton and gold. He almost loved him as much as he loved himself. And he couldn't let that slip to Ramsay. Imagine the headlines. "Walking toupee, in love with angry British chef." Trump glanced at the clock. It was almost time. He heard a car pull up the driveway and Raoul's unique footsteps approaching the Trump Tower's doors. Oh God, it's time, Trump thought. Images of Ramsay shirtless filled his mind. Donald waited nervously in the office. He could hear the loud footsteps of Raoul and hot and steamy Mr. Ramsay. Hot and steamy like ravioli. Gordy would understand that joke. He's a chef. Chefs love ravioli. He managed to pat his face dry and slick his hair back before they entered the room. The doors open. There he was, the tall, sexy restaurateur. Donald's lip began to quiver as Ramsay approached the desk. Raoul exited the doors and closed the room. She shot a sly wink at Trump. She knew. "Good evening, Mr. Ramsay," Trump managed to spit out. Ramsay looked around the room, seemingly perplexed by the large amount of Egyptian cotton, gold, and mounted heads of scientists that both Raoul and Trump have slain. "Quite an impressive office you, have here," mumbled Ramsay. He was visibly nervous. "Ha ha!" Trump laughed aloud. Oh God, I've made him uncomfortable, thought Trump. There was only one thing he had to do. "I'm going to be part of your show. Meeting adjourned. Good day, Mr. Ramsay." Trump then got up from his seat and began to usher Gordon out of the room. "Filming starts next week, Mr. Trump," mumbled Ramsay as Trump pushed Gordon through the doors. Raoul then escorted Gordon out of the building. Trump slowly walked back to his seat. "What have I done?" he wailed. All right, well, that's it for part 1. Stay tuned for part 2, which will be out shortly. Yeah, and if you like the video, I mean, it's not really a video because it is a video, but there's no video. So, I mean, if you like the video, even though it doesn't exist as such, which it is, be sure to like and subscribe. Oh, rate 5 stars. Is that still a thing? If you've made it to the end of the video, thank you for listening. Feel free to comment about anything that you want. It's just, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's no big deal. And if there are any other fanfics, ship fics that you want read, you think would be funny, let me know. PM me. Leave a suggestion in the comment with a link. That's always helpful because then I can actually find it. It's no big deal. And there's going to be part 2 is going to be out soon. So look forward to that. And thanks so much.